So we're back, and I have two 4x8 sheets of plywood resting on the table that we made the other day. Actually, it was about a week ago. I thought it was gonna be one day or the next day that I was gonna come in, but it turned out to be a week. So here we are. I got some pencils over there. We're gonna mark the bottom side of the plywood, flip them over, cut them off, and go from there. Let's get started. So I got the first piece cut, a little bit of an event. Well, let's get started on that second piece. I just want to say I'm using this 2x2 by 1/4 inch aluminum angle iron, and it works absolutely fantastic. The advantages of aluminum over pretty much anything else is that it's extruded, so it's absolutely true. It works great for a guide. So let's cut that second piece out and get started putting this thing down. I'm trying to, when on that first piece, I was trying to make the calculations of how to cut it so that I could get the most out of it when I use it on the CNC router. Because I can use those drops of the plywood to make some sort of project out of. What? I don't know, but we'll figure it out, right? So right now I'm going to be cutting some brackets. I didn't anticipate putting brackets on the bottom of the table, but instead of being lazy and not putting them there, I'm going to put them there. So I'm gonna be using the cold saw. So the difference between a hot saw, which throws sparks, and a cold saw that doesn't throw sparks, is one throws sparks and the other one doesn't. Anyways, so we'll be using the cold saw to cut off several pieces of 1x1/8 stainless angle, and then we'll weld them on, and then we'll drill them in spot. So then we'll use like some pen head screws or something to go from the bottom up, along with we'll be using some construction adhesive to glue the wood down. One of the biggest things that we want to avoid is vibration, and if the wood and the metal can move just a little bit, it'll make it kind of loud in here. So we're going to cut that down. Plus the feet that go on the bottom of the table are isolator pads. So they're swivel based, plus they have a rubber pad on the bottom that will eliminate a lot of sound and keep everything stable and the equipment working good. So let's get started cutting here. So how the cold saw works is that the blade, it removes metal, yes, but it is more of a machining effect. So the blade actually turns very, very slow. I think right now it's at 32 RPMs, which isn't very fast. It gives the edge of the pieces kind of like as if it's been milled. So let's speed this up here just a little bit. So we got our 20 pieces cut. Now we're going to take and deburr the ends. Got several different piles here. And we'll be using the Walter surface finisher. It has the 2-in-1 wheel in it. So again, it's Scotch-Brite sandpaper, Scotch-Brite sandpaper. So all these edges are rough, and once they get welded underneath the table, we'll never ever see them again, we hope. But we don't want anybody to ever get cut on anything that we build. We don't want anybody to get hurt, period. So we'll use this right here and clean them up, and then we'll weld them up, you know? So here's the finished result. I have both sides welded and put the brackets right here, mounted them completely flush. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh man, that's a lot of brackets on there. That's like a lot of overkill. But not really. The way I figure it, the more mounting brackets that I have, the less likely everything will come loose. Kind of over-engineered it, but it's okay. So now all we have to do is drill some holes through those brackets, figure out what screws we're going to use. So we should figure that one out first before we drill the holes, because otherwise we may have a problem. And then once we drill the holes through, we'll go and just touch the backside with a grinder, because we'll be going from the bottom up, and I don't want any burrs or anything jacking with the screws. So yeah, let's figure out what freaking screws we are using, and I might take a trip to the Home Depot. So here we go. Hopefully it's not a super huge mess. We're going to run a bead of glue down here, and then we're going to flip the wood over, put it on there, run another bead of glue, kind of shift them in place. Hopefully it doesn't like stick instantly. I didn't even read the instructions on this stuff, but it's liquid nails fuse it. They actually have one that's supposed to be 5 times stronger. This is 2 times stronger versus the fasteners alone. They have one that's 5 times stronger. That just sounds dangerous. So we'll put that on there, maybe throw some clamps on there. These are drilled out, and we have some number 8 by 5/8 long stainless screws to go in there. So let's get started here. Time for the shit show now. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. This is where 2 people would be very handy to have this. Most important thing is I don't want this edge going down prematurely. I want to pull this back. Then push it. Good. Well, evidently my holder fell over, so that super sucks. It's on the battery, it's getting battery charger now. So, hopefully it'll be up and going here in a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and sink the rest of the screws into this thing here, and yeah, that should be pretty close to being done. So here's the table. I have it almost all done. The only thing left to do really is to put a coat of clear over top of it. But I'm like, I don't know, if I do that, it's gonna take another 3 days. Kind of wish I would have done that on Monday or Tuesday night. I would have been already at this point, but it's glued and screwed. Yeah. Pretty cool. So we have this Minwax fast drying polyurethane here, and I taped off around the perimeter, and I'm going for it because if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. I think several people out there could probably relate to that. So I'll show you a picture after I get done putting this on there. So I did it. I got the whole thing done here. Put the polyurethane on there, on the top. Did the edges, took the painter's tape off, went back through and put lacquer thinner on the edges where I might have had some run over. And now it's ready to dry, and put that X Carve Pro on there. So I'm super excited. So hopefully tomorrow, the polyurethane that is now on the table is workable so that we can assemble the X Carve Pro together. But in between then and now, we have to make some room because there's a lot of items in here that don't need to be in here. So we gotta work on that. But until next time, when we put the X Carve Pro together and get that all set up and dialed in, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an excellent day. Take care.